Am I audible now? Am I audible, guys? Okay. Okay, okay. Thank you. Ask everyone to join. Okay, so I'm talking about one example that is built on a React. Okay, so here we having Airbnb, and if I click on this, okay, the same page will be open for both. The image will be different. Okay, so these are the same component. Okay, so am I going to like build for a different code? Am I going to write the code for different? No, I will reuse the code. Okay, so that's why we called React is a reusable. Okay, so if I talking about Airbnb, okay, so um in the Airbnb, uh, we are using a React, and it React allow developer to build a reusable UI, and here we can see the example they are reusing the UI. Okay, and it also help to like create the website using modular based. Okay, and scalable application. If I going to home, and here we having home page, so someone working on a home page, and then someone working on experience, okay, and someone working on a services. Okay, and someone working on become a host, home experience services, all those things. Okay, so it provides us the structure throughout the we can approach a website as a modular base. Okay, and it follow a component based architecture. Okay, and where the user interface is divided into smaller reusable component, and these component manage their own state and can be composed together to create a complex user interface. So we can see this is also component, date is also component. Okay, so, and the search functionality is also component. So these are the different components. Okay, we will see what is component. Okay, so React use a virtual DOM. Okay, so I already talked about the document object model. So we will see what is the meaning of virtual DOM. Okay, to update and render the component efficiently. So when there are changes to application state, and React, it calculates the difference between the previous and the current state, and then update only the necessary part of the UI. Okay, so what is meaning of that? We will see. Okay, so here we will see the document. Okay, so we will use the blueprint of this. Okay, we will not going to change directly. If I want to add some component inside that, okay, so I'm not directly adding in this here. Okay, I'm not going to add directly this component here. Okay, first I will make a duplicate of it. Okay, I will make a duplicate of it. Okay, and then I will add that component inside that. Okay, like this in React is we will working like that, we working like that. Okay, then I will work add this node here. So it is like that. Then I will compare these virtual changes. Okay, these changes. Okay, this virtual DOM to the real DOM. Okay, I will compare both using using uh, diffing algo. Okay, so you can search for diffing algorithm. Okay, we will compare the reals ones and the like changes ones. What is the changes? Okay, so I will see this is the changes, so I will render only for this part. Okay, and I will add this thing. Okay, I will make these changes. So this how the virtual DOM work. Okay, okay, and I don't think there is some concept that I left. So any doubt you can ask me once I want to repeat. Okay, so first React create a blueprint of this real DOM. Okay, and then add something here. Okay, and then compare with this thing. Okay, using a diffing algorithm, and then add this thing. So our optimization time complexity is decreased due to this. Okay, due to this process. So I'm not going to render and start the whole project. I will render this thing and add this thing in my running website. Okay, in future we will see, and this will happen using diffing algorithm. And this process, the comparing process, we are going to comparing, that is called reconciliation. Okay, now let's talk about why use React instead of other framework. So we talk about a component based architecture. Okay, so we can use a component based architecture. So first is component based architecture. Okay, and then virtual DOM. I already talked about virtual DOM. What is virtual DOM? Okay, and virtual DOM, if virtual DOM, then we can add here efficient. What is meaning of rendering, guys? I already talked about that in server side rendering and client side rendering. What is meaning of rendering? What is meaning of rendering? Anyone know? Ah, explain what is, write in a chat what is meaning of rendering. Okay, like we are this is a website, and we having this component, these images. So we are creating these images, no? So that is the rendering. When we creating something, some images or some component, that is the rendering. The process of creating the component, it's known as rendering. Or no, like we can see text, audio, and all those things. Okay, so that is the rendering. Okay, then it is a declarative creative and reactive programming. How it is declarative and reactive? So React promote a declarative programming model where developer describe the desired UI state, and React can take care of updating the UI using the virtual DOM, okay, to match that state. And this approach simplify UI development by abstracting, we can say, away the low level detail of manipulating the DOM, okay. And reactive natures ensure that the UI automatically update when the underlying data changes. So when we changes, it's not gonna be rendering the whole page, it will rendering for that part, okay. So that's why we called it declarative and reactive programming, okay. When we declare something, it will react on that, okay. And we can also say that we are using a React because it have a large and active community, okay. And now we having React native also we are using React not for the like only the web development, but we can also use that thing, like use that thing in mobile development also, that is called Android development. And it having it provide us ecosystem and toolings, all those things. And also the company like Facebook backing it. So that's why it is like very like popular in web developer instead of other framework, okay. Now let's talk about will there are other excellent framework available, or like React component based architecture, efficient rendering. So declarative programming model and a strong community we already seen, and all those things we already seen. Then we having coming about, it is work on the both, it work on the both, we call it, okay. It is work on a both, that is SPA and MPA, okay. So what is it? It is single single page application. Mostly we use it for the single page application, but it can also use for the multi, we call it multiple, okay, multiple page application, okay. So what is a single page application, okay. So a single page application is a web application that operate within a single web page, okay, and provide a seamless user experience by dynamically updating the content on the page without requiring a full page reload. So we can add without reload, full page reload. And single page application typically we can say client side rendering, and utilize a JavaScript framework like Angular, Vue, okay, and React library to handle the rendering and routing, okay. So here some keyword, I'm going to explain some keyword, okay. Here sorry, I don't require this, I want this, okay. So here some keyword I will like mention, dynamic content loading. Okay, so dynamic means single page application load the initial HTML, CSS, and JavaScript asset when the application is first assessed, and then subsequent interaction and content update are managed through Ajax code. Okay, I already talked about what is Ajax. Asynchronous Java script. Okay, XML, or we called it API request, and allowing for faster and more responsive user experience. Okay, and then there will be fluid user experience. Okay, yes, you will get soon. Okay, Nijam. Sometime class link is not received on my mail. What should I do? You can ask in a Telegram group. Okay. So fluid experience I will talk about. So this is also, since single page application don't require a full page reload, and interaction feel a more fluid. Okay, what is fluid? Okay, anything that can flow. So interaction feel more fluid and responsive to user. We called it now, something is running very smoothly, we called it running like a full fluid. So same thing is here. Then it having a better performance. Okay, and I can say it having simplified development. Okay, and also you can say maintenance. Okay, if you want to changes, you can. Then if I talk about multi-page application. Okay, so a multi-page application is a type of web application architecture where each page is separated in HTML or document. So in multi-page application, each page typically represent a distinct view or functionality of the application. When navigation between the page, the browser load a new HTML. Okay, so when we having some home page here, and when you click like home page, and then you having something that is user dashboard. Okay, and if you click on that, so opening the other page, it will take some time, it will reload. Okay, it will reload. Like I click on this. Okay, it is reloading. So it is different from the home page. So we can say we are using here the multi-page MPA. Okay, multi-page application. Okay, so this is a like example of multi-page application. If you talk about simple page application, if you build some portfolio and using HTML in only one page, so that might be, or any landing page, so that belong with the single page application. Okay, so generally some characteristic, if I talk about the multi-page application, so it having separate HTML, I already talked, and then having a full page reload. Okay, and then SSR, that is server side rendering, and we having a limited interactivity. Okay, not like the multi single page. Okay, here we having a limited interactivity because are handling here the multi-phase. And I can see clear separation concern. So that is the problem here. Why? So like MPA follow more traditional approach, okay, to the web development. So where each page focus on a specifically functionality or content presentation. So this can lead to a clearer separation of concern. Okay, this thing where each page focus on a specific functionality, then there is a concern. Okay, so this is like intro. Let's start. How can we like use the React? Okay, this is the main thing. So you can also use the CDN methods, guys, if you want. Okay, you can also use the CDN method to like install the React, but we are not going to do and not going to, I'm not going to confuse you. So we will start like npm. So first you need a required, I hope everyone having a node.js. Okay, so please install the node.js, everyone. uh, Install this because in a React we also gonna use npm. Okay, okay, so if I open my portal, okay, here, not there, controls. Okay, so if I talk about like that thing, first we have to install a node.js, then we can use a npx. Okay, and create React app. Okay, and here I am going to say vip, so we can install like this. Okay, so most of people not using this. Okay, we having something new. So I am going to talk about the latest, not the like oldest. So we having people using React with the white. Okay, people get using this thing white. Okay, here you can npm create a white latest. You can give this command, and then you can choose your like functionality what you gonna use. Okay, which frame you gonna use. Okay, so you can also like use this. Okay, I'm going to use this one also. So need to install the following package, create a like it provides something that is a version. Okay, so it's asking to me proceed. Yes, for yes click y. Okay, I'm going to click y. Okay, and it is creating. So here we can see say it is deprecated. Okay, so you can ignore this thing, but this method is like nearly deprecated, or most people use white. Okay, that's why. So it's installing some package that is React DOM, a React script within that thing. Okay. So here one you can see one folder created VIP. Okay, and we having a packet dot JSON. We will see what is meaning of it. Okay, we get a node module. So it will take some time. If anyone having doubt, you can ask me. If you want to use white, you can also use a white. Okay. uh, I'm giving command npx. Okay, create react app. Okay, here you can also use npm, but mostly what is meaning of npx? It is a meaning of node package execute. Okay, and npm is stand for node package manager. So node package manager work in a globally, where npx that allow a developer to run a node js package directly from the npm registry. Okay, without installing them globally. Okay, you have to use a globally thing. If you don't like, you should have globally node install. Okay, so it already installed. Okay, so if you are using node package manager, you should having the background that is called node.js. Okay, and if we talking about npx, so it provide a like bundle with npm that allow a developer to run a node package directly from the npm registry without installing them globally or locally. Okay, it's a particular useful for executing cli tools. So this is a cli method. Okay, I'm using a cli method, and we having also a cdn method. So no one talk about a cdn method, don't worry. No one gonna use a cdn method. That is a very deprecated method. Okay, now so I did wrong thing, so I like using cls to clear this thing. Okay, so we already seeing it provides some like command. Okay, so first, if I want to run this project, then I have to do one thing. Okay, uh, I have to change the directly cd vip. Okay, so I am in this directory. Now I will give a command that is npm start. So now we are able to create our first react app. Okay, we can see. Okay, react app. So we are able to see a react app. If I open a react, okay, search for react, you can learn it from here. The best thing is you have to one work, you have to explore this thing tomorrow. Okay, in a self learning, this is your homework. Okay, all those things you have to like uh, you also like join the community and all those things, and you can learn react. Okay, using this you can start learning the react. That is a best uh, place to learn the react. Okay, and this is a very basic, guys, this is a very basic thing they are gonna teach us here. Okay, so this is your work for tomorrow. Now I will continue this with the folder structure. Okay, so here we can see, here we having a node module. Okay, and then we having a public folder src git ignore package log json. Okay, and then packet.json. Okay, so if I talk about this one, okay, you can see the lot of library. So it contained all the project dependency install view a npm. So we will see we need to like install many things, so we will use npm install and give the package name. In future we will see, and it usually managed automatically by the package manager. Okay, so it is managed by the package manager directly. Okay, we don't have to add and something here. Okay, you have to provide just command from here. Now we having public folder. Okay, so this folder contain a public asset. Okay, and the index.html file which serve as a entry point. Okay, this one we will see, this is a entry point. Okay, and which serve as an entry point for the react application. So here we are using also this html structure, but not like that. Okay, here we can see the html, and inside using we are using if I see. Okay, so I am providing like here five icon. Okay, and then apple touch icon, all those things here I mentioned here. Okay, and I provide a id that is root. Okay, so we will see what where is id is root. Okay, you need to enable javascript to run this app, and I am writing here the react like we are writing like previously when we are using html css and js. Okay, now if I talk about the next thing, here we are having some logos and all those things. So you can place like we already talk about, let's talk about the src. Okay, what is src? So this is a main source code directory where you will write your react component and application logic. Okay, and first here we having index.js. Okay, we will see. So this is the entry point of our react project. Okay, and here I am mentioning something that is app. Okay, so it render the root application that is app.js. Okay, inside that we mention something. Okay, we will see what is the meaning of rendering and how we wrapping that thing. Then we having a app.js. So this is a page where you write something, then it gonna render to our here. Okay, here if I remove this thing, okay, up to this. Okay, so I will see something. Am I entering the same thing? Okay, a logo come through that like particularly. So this is a main component. Okay, of our application, and it serve as a container. Okay, if I remove this thing, I think I am not running this. Let me restart the server. I am closing that thing. Control shift to plus backtick, and npm start. Okay, sorry. So first we have to change the directory. We have to come in that directory. Okay, where we created our react. Where is a packet.json? Okay, so we will see about this. So I'm going to see cd vip. I'm going to do this, and then I will run npm start. So it already running. Okay, so I'm taking no, I will cut this thing. Okay, if it is already running, then it will directly, there is a some functionality attached to the our React, it will ask us to like change the server. Okay, so I'm giving the command npm start, and then yeah, I will change the directory. So now it's running on a 3001, and if I like refresh this thing, it is running still the same thing. Okay, now let's talk about the components. Okay, so if I want to make a component, okay, so I can make a component here. So can you tell me the command again? Okay, that's the same query. Okay, so components, it's not component, it's a components. Okay, like this. So component, in this folder we have to create this folder, and in this folder it contained a reusable UI component that can be like used across the multiple pages or view. And actually I don't enable the autosave here. That's the problem. Okay, and I'm writing something hello h1 here. I will write here h1 h1. Okay, hello world. So we can see here this thing, welcome to the VIP app. Okay, so now we can make a changes. If you like make a changes here, that directly detect, okay, it will directly restart. Okay, and if some error, it will mention some error. We will see what is meaning of Babel and all those things, why there is a Babel instead of Node.js. Okay, then we can create here one component that is pages also. Okay, so in a src we should having some pages. This will be the structure. Okay, pages. And then you can also like write here the styles and asset. I'm not going to like mention that thing. Let's talk about git ignore. Okay, so like that you can make a different components. The page components where you kept your UI, and then the pages. Okay, where you are using that components, and then style, then asset, then utils, and then if you are using redux, then mention a redux. All those things should be like this flow. And then we having a git ignore. So if you're writing something like when we uploading something on a github, then I don't want to like upload the big thing that is a node module, because it is a pre-built on a github, so I don't want to upload that thing. So I have to mention here the node module simply. Okay, then .env file if it is there. Okay, so we don't want to like share our credential. Okay, we like, if I creating some .env here in don't in a src, in a vip. Okay, in a vip we have to create a .env. So in this file we have to keep the front end url, like backend url, and many credential things that we not want to share. Okay, so you can mention environment here. Okay, And then we having a package log JSON, okay, and packet.json. So let's talk about this thing. So these are the file contained, first the like here I can see the project configuration, okay. So these are the configuration, okay, on which we are running this project. And then we having a script, okay. So here we write something react script start, and I mention npm start, then I am able to run this thing. Then build method, if I run npm run build, then I will build that thing. So we will see what is meaning of build, okay, when we deploy our project. Then we having something that is like enlist configuration, okay, extended. So here we having two thing, react app and react thing, then browse list, then development, okay. We having one thing there, that is dependency. So when I like install something, okay, like I required in something that is I search uh dom, okay, route dom, that is route, not root, route dom, okay. So react router dom. So if I copy, okay, like this, you have to search here and come on a npm package, okay, and see here you can see the version of the, okay, and all those things you can see here, how can able to use that. And I have to do control C, then I will restart this, and then mention npm, sorry, paste that thing npm I react router dom, okay. And if I click, then we install that thing, okay, dependency. And there we can see in our dependencies, we having a this dependency folder. So in dependency the react router dom is added and react dom is already added, okay. So here we can see now there should be a readme file, okay. So here you can like uh this file usually contain the project documentation, okay, and instruction if you want to wrote and other information, okay. Then we will come to the okay, any doubt up to this setting, any doubt up to this setting thing. This is a very basic thing, okay. I hope everyone understand this thing, okay. If you are like install using white, so there might be some structure different, but the all functionality will be same, okay. So let me know if any doubt up to this. Any doubt, guys? I can continue now. Okay, so let's talk about something that is very important. JSX. What is JSX? Anyone know? What is JSX, guys? What is JSX? Anyone? So it's stand for JavaScript, Java, JavaScript, XML. Okay, so it is a syntax extension for JavaScript used in a React. Okay, this one. So it describes the structure and content of user interface, how it will see. Like if I mention something P, okay, P, so you can see it will add it there. Here, okay, if I refresh this, actually I am stop this. I have to rerun this thing. Actually, that is the problem. That's why we are using uh React White. Okay, so here you can see this app demonstrate various documents. So it both thing are added. Okay, guys, please like response. It's look like no one getting anything. Okay, and then it allow you to write HTML like code. Okay, it is not fully HTML. It is allow use to HTML like code, like extensible. What is it like? What is full form of XML? It meaning is extensible markup language, right? So JSX provide a way to define and compose a React component in a more declarative and intuitive manner. Okay, so here you can see. Okay, this part is a JSX. Okay, this part is a JSX. Okay, so here if you are using JSS, the like the proper method is a import React from React. Okay, you have to import this thing. It is not usable this thing, but the proper way is we have to do this thing. Okay, and then we define a functional component. Okay, here we define a functional component, and then we return. Okay, inside that we return a statement. We write HTML inside that. We write HTML like tags. Okay, so I am writing like this. So then we export that thing. We are exporting something. And so inside that we can modify any name also. Okay, uh, like use it within a JSX expression to dynamically display and like greeting something. Okay, so we can like change anything inside that we able to change. Okay, so the meaning is JSX we can write a JavaScript and XML within one like structure, one folder. So that is the meaning of JSX. Okay, so it also allow the nesting composition. Okay, like I like mean something that is a uh, greeting dot js. Okay, I'm writing something like this and then rfc. So we can also export this thing like that, but the proper way is use rfce. This is like the shortcut to create something. And here I will write h1 tag. Okay, and then I'm giving some greeting, different greeting. Hello, how are you? Are you okay? Or hello, good evening. This is greeting. That is the question. Okay, and first we can import that thing. Okay, import. Okay, greeting from greeting pages. So you have to mention. Okay, backslash. If I talk about this slash, okay, let me talk about this. Okay, if I mention dot and slash, then you can see the suggestion here. Okay, so where is our greeting in a page? So we will select the pages and then I like then I mention a backslash, then I'm getting a greeting. So I will choose a greeting here. Okay, so I will close that thing. So if I like mention my greeting here, okay, like this component, so I can use, okay, that greeting. And if I am seeing if it is compiling or not, it is still compiling. So JSX allow the nesting the component. Okay, you can include other component within a this component. So in the future we will see. Actually my network is very slow, I think. Am I audible guys properly? Next day we will install a white also. Okay, okay, I am getting hello, good evening. Okay, so that's how we can add the like nested something inside that. Okay, and then JSX allow a nesting composition, and we can also include other composition within a JSX expression. So that's so example. Okay, and what is the rule for like writing a JSX. So first rule is that we have to import React, and then you should have mentioned some component, functional component or class component. We will also see the about a class component. So you have to mention a functional component or a class component, and then you can write return. Okay, inside a return bracket, then you can write a XML. Okay, so there should be one root element. Okay, so this one is like main app is a main root element. Okay, a single root element to like we can say encapsulate all JSX code within a component and a render method. So if you having a multiple element, wrap them in a single parents. Like I having two, this one and this one, so I'm wrapping. This is called a wrapping. I'm wrapping inside that. Okay, so inside that we can also use a CSS, guys, like I mentioned. Okay, I can also use a CSS here. If I talk about this, uh, I mention something like class name. Okay, equal to something, some name I will provide my component, and then I am writing something. Okay, so in between, if I write here some styled with CSS, okay, style with CSS, so I can write. Okay, we will see the meaning of class name and all those things. If I mention here style, I can mention color here, color blue, like this. So we cannot mention like this. Okay, uh we have to mention here the things, style with CSS, all those things. Okay, so we already seen import. Okay, this is a import method. So import in like React is like that. You have to import and then write the name. Okay, you can like take a name, anything, but mention that name so you can identify clearly. And then this is like a nomenclature of React. You have to write something in a capital. Okay, uh, and then mention from, and then like give here the directory. Okay, like here I can like import two thing using curly braces also. Like I'm importing something here, that is use effect, use state. Okay, so I can write a use state here. Okay, so we can like import like this also. We used to import like this also. So using curly braces, if you want to like import a multiple thing, okay, in a single module, so you can do. Okay, if it belong to the same functionality. Okay, and if I talk about the exports, I can export default app, or I can use export. Okay, if I creating something, uh, give some name, hello. Okay, dot js, and I will write RFC. Okay, so I can export this also like this. Okay, here like this. Sorry, I can export this thing. Okay, like this, and I can export my module like this also. Okay, and I can like able to get the both thing. Okay, if I import, okay, hello from hello, and if I write here hello, okay, it will run. If I changing something here, if I provide h1 hello world, okay, so it will work. Hello, good morning, I can see here. Okay. Then we can see here something that is uh, when it come there is a babel. Okay, it mention babel. So what is meaning of babel? Okay, so babel is a popular javascript compiler. Okay, it is also a compiler like uh, browser v8. Okay, so it is commonly used in a modern web development, including React.js. Okay, and it allow developer to write a code using the latest JavaScript feature and syntax, which may not be supported by all browsers. So some browser cannot support your like JavaScript. So that's why we use a Babel. Okay, uh, this one I'm talking about Babel. Okay, so commonly used in a modern web development, including React.js, and it allowed a developer to write a code using a latest JavaScript feature and syntax, which may not be supported by the all browser, and then it transpiles that code into the equivalent code that can run in a older. Okay, so if this is my like browser and it is older, okay, let assume, and it don't have that functionality and feature. Okay, if I am using nowadays Node.js like 23 version, I think we can search Node.js. Okay, and we having 22.16 and get 24 also. Okay, 24 version also. So it's called, this is a stable. Let's assume I am using this version. Okay, I am using this version, and our v8 engine not supported that version. Okay, this browser having something that is not supported that version. So what we will do, it will converted all my dependency and functionality as compared to this browser. Okay, as compared to this browser, and then transpile that code into the equivalent code that can run the older or less feature rich environments. Okay, if it is like older, then it will convert into the older. My browser is older and that is not supported new thing, then it will convert that thing. Yes, you will get, but please listen in a live classes. Okay, so some key feature of and benefit of using Wevel are JavaScript next support. So Wevel enable developer to write code using the latest JavaScript syntax and features such as arrow function. Okay, we already seen the arrow function, classes, template literals, and more. And we will ensure that this modern code is transformed into the equivalent code that can run in a older environment. Okay, and then we having a plugin system inside that. So Wevel has a rich ecosystem of plugin that can added to extend it capabilities, and this plugin allow developer to enable specific transformation, apply customer syntax, or integrate with other tools and frameworks. Okay, and it also support a JSX. We already seen what is meaning of JSX. Okay, and then developer experience. Okay, we will enhance the developer experience by enabling the use of cutting edge JavaScript features and syntax. Okay, it converted that syntax if you write something different. Really, okay. So we don't hear the Webel, but if we install using that thing, white, we can see the Webel. Okay, tomorrow I will like start my code with the like white. Okay, so I already talked about the virtual DOM. If you want, I can repeat the virtual DOM. Okay, so let me like once again revise those things in a virtual DOM. So that is important concept once again uh, here. Okay, so in React JS, we are already I explained that thing. We are using a virtual DOM. Okay, and it is a lightweight thing, in memory representation, not a real thing. Okay, it is a blueprint of it. Okay, and it serve as a abstraction layer between the component and the browser. So it provide a way to update and render the component efficiently. Okay, this update the component and render the thing uh, efficiently. So if I talk about like virtual work in React, so initialize render. Okay, what is meaning of render? When a React component is initially render or update, so React construct a virtual tree. Okay, like this. Okay, virtual tree like this, and this represent of a desired component structure, and this tree consist of React element, and it is a lightweight. And then we will use a diffie algorithm to compare those things, and this is a very efficient update because we are updating those part. Okay, we are rendering those part that is updated. Okay, and then I talk about a reconciliation. Okay, I am writing this thing. This is a very important for your interview purpose. Actually the name is like very attractive, that's why interviewer asks, rather than no concept is here. Okay, so reconciliation, once the different have been like identified, okay, using a diffie algorithm, React applies that changes in a real DOM. So that is a reconciliation. Okay, once it is like updated using like identified using a diffing algorithm, then React apply these necessary changes to the real browser DOM and updating only the affected element, and this process is known as reconciliation. Okay, so we already seen this is updated and this is a necessary we are going to use, then it will update it here in a real DOM. Okay, now we gonna start component, state and props. So if I talk about component, okay, if I talk about the, I have something that is component. I don't think so. Okay, let's talk about a component. So in a React, a component is a reusable and self-contained piece of code that defines the structure and behavior of part of user interface. Let me upload some images here. I will share this thing. So see this thing, where we gone? Okay, okay. So what is component? It contains a self piece of code that define the structure and behavior. Okay, like if we having header, then it is called header component. If we having side name, then it is called side name. If it is content, then it will show as a main content. If I side name, okay, if it is footer, then so like a footer. So these are the different component. Okay, so it like component are building block, okay, of a react application and can be composed together to create a complex UI. Okay, so component can be like thought of a foundation or a class that return a react element which describe what should be rendered on the screen. Component and can be accept input called props, okay, that allow them to configure and customize based on a application's needs. Okay, so component provide, we already talk about in the initial. I talk about what it provide: reusability, okay, and reusability, then encapsulation. This is belong to encapsulation is oops component in capsule their own logic and uh, state, okay, inside something, and making a self-contained and modular. This promote the separation concern and make it easier to reason about the maintain the code base. Okay, so you cannot reuse another thing. So if I talk about a composition, so component can be composed together to build a complex user interface. Okay, it quite a composition. Okay, so if I talk about the type of component in a React, okay, type of component in a React. So we having a two type of component in a React. First is class component, and then we already seen this thing, that is a functional component, functional component. Okay, so functional component in a React are a JavaScript function that return a element, okay, and describing what should be rendered on a screen, and they are also known as a stateless. It is stateless, that is the different. Okay, they are stateless. You can say they are stateless. Okay, and because they don't manage their own state, okay, and have a access to life cycle method. Instead they focus on accepting the inputs, okay, props, okay, that calls props, that they accept, okay, and UI based on those input. Here are some like example, this functional component. Okay, so I'm making this functional component. So here you can see it is like functional component, it is accepting two functionality here. Okay, uh, then we having a class component. So in React, okay, class component are JavaScript classes that extend the React dot component class. Okay, it extend the it extend the uh, a react dot component class. Okay, and they allow you to define the structure and behavior of of a part of your user interface. Will class component without using prop may have a limited practical use. Okay, so uh, let's talk about this. Okay, and I'm mentioning here something, that is class.js. Okay, I'm writing something here. Okay, class some class component. So it is written like this. If I remove this thing, okay, there is no CSS for us. Okay, so here we can see, yeah, it have a construct props, then super call, then this one. Okay, then change message, then we having a rendering inside that. Okay, inside the class component, extend component, we have to mention like this. Okay, and then we can render simply. We can remove this part. Okay, I can render this simply. So this is like one of example of class component. Okay, and that was the functional component. It having some higher order component. Okay, if I talk about higher order component, so higher dot js, I mention higher order component, that is called HOC. Okay, so this is called a higher order component where like we change something, okay, increment something, okay, and we return something. Okay, so if I talk about higher order component, so it is a pattern used for code reusability. Okay, we can reuse the code again and again. Like I am using a increment this thing. Okay, this function I am using again and again for the every click. Okay, like wrap component something I am writing here. Okay, and then I'm like increment something. Okay, there is a button where I'm clicking to increment that thing. So I'm reuse this functionality. Okay, so it is not built on a API in a React, but rather than design a pattern that leverage the composability of component in a React. And higher order component is a function that take a component as an argument and react a new component with additional modify props. Okay, so if I talk about some functionality of it, so function that takes a component as an argument. Okay, and functional that take a component as argument. So there is some wrap component. Okay, that is coming from somewhere. Okay, and I am using that thing. So additional logic and props. And so what is meaning of additional logic and props? So inside SOC you can add additional logic. Okay, inside like behavior or props that you can properly to the base component is. Okay, and then I am talking about return. It return a new component. Okay, it is returning a also new component by using this. Okay, increment. After that we can able to change that thing. So this become a new component. We are getting that component, but we are converting something. Okay, inside that. Okay, if I talk about use, so to use a SOC, you can wrap the target component. Okay, that is function, and then uh, component with HOC function like decoder. okay, and enhance the target component with additional provided by the SOC. So we are doing that thing. We having like wrap this thing, okay, sorry, we wrap this thing, okay, a reactive function, wrap this thing with counter, and inside that we having enhance component, okay. So we wrap this thing with something, okay, with counter, and then we are writing a return a function, okay, like this. And we having then we having something, if I talk about this and remove all those part, okay, and I am talking about the conditional rendering, conditional rendering. So we having something, so I will write something here, not a rap, I will write the app, okay, I will write this app, and then I will write return my app also. Okay, it is running. So it having a a conditional rendering. I can see, okay, it is logging. If I click on a logging, I can see welcome back, and if I click on a logout, I can see logging. So I give a condition here, okay. So I provide a condition. If I click on a logging, then show me the logout, okay. If I click first, show me the please login button, and if I click on a login button, then show me the logout button, okay. So it show me the logout welcome back, okay. So here the logic, okay, I'm writing something, the function app, and set login, okay, and then I'll talk about the like logging welcome back please logging, rather than show me if is logging, okay. If is logging, I've taken is logging, and one state we will see this hook tomorrow, okay, not today, okay. So I having some condition, if you like is logging, then show me the log out, and like with this, okay, welcome back. And if is logging, then show me the welcome, like if click on a logging, then show me the welcome back please login. If so, here you have, okay, if I click in a login, so please login, I am getting please log, okay, please login. If it's logging, okay, if it's logging, then show this login, and please log in from here. And if it's log out, okay, if it log out, then show this thing, both thing, that is true, okay. If it logging is true, then show the log out and welcome back, okay. Any doubt up to this? Now let's talk about props in a React. Okay, I'm having many component. I'm not going make some new, having hello, okay. So I'm going to make one thing, I'm making a parent component here. So parent component dot js, okay. So let's talk about what is a prop. So prop in React is a short form of properties, okay, are a way to pass data from a parent component to its child component, okay, we will see. And then they are essential mechanism for component communicate and enable the customization and configuration of component, okay. So if I talk about let's start. So I will import react from react, import react from react, and then I having something first, that is a child. Okay, I should be child component, child component. Okay, dot js. Okay, so here can child component. Okay, so I make this is a child component. Okay, and I'm not passing anything. Okay, and, let's make a parent component. Inside child component I should be something here. uh, I will make a name. Okay, one p, and I will mention a name. Okay, and I will pass something, uh, prop. Okay, we mention here props dot name. Okay, like this, and I mention is, okay, props dot age. Okay, and if I import that thing, okay, um, like this, import, not this, import child component, child component from child. Okay, then write a parents. So see here, I passing some props from child component. Okay, the parents component can pass data, so I am passing first, like pass some data for like to the child by including attribute. Okay, so I am you including attribute, I'm passing this to the child. Okay, here from a name, and I am passing name and age. Okay, and I already mentioned a name and age here. Okay, so parents default, and if we mention this thing, okay, in app.js, uh, if I remove this thing, the whole thing, okay, we can remove this thing. Okay, and we can also remove this thing, and here I can mention here something, that is import, import child component from pages. Okay, and then I will mention here, so I can also set it like this, but I don't want. Okay, it's already mentioned there. What is the error? So I have to import it carefully. Pages, and I can mention a child component. Prop is not defined. Okay, no problem. Okay, So I have to pass the props. Okay, these two things. Then I will able to run this. So there is a like error. Okay, name is, and if I mention here the like use here the parents. Okay, we already use that thing, so we have to mention here the parents component. Okay, I will mention a parents component from parents, and then uh, rendering parents. Okay, what I'm getting error. So if I see my error, so this is error in a pages parents component. Okay, so in a parents component, if I go, I can see it say these are not defined. Okay, so this is like I'm getting due to the old version of my like this system. If I comment out this thing, and then I will import only the import child RFC. Okay, and then I'm still getting that problem. I think there is a problem of this thing. It shouldn't be the problem because I'm changing, I'm not importing anything. Okay, I will restart this thing. First, let me import something. Import, okay, parents, and then I will import parent component, and I will use that to render this thing. Okay, now I will restart npm start. Yes. Okay, import as a child is not found. Actually, I'm not exporting this thing, so that is the problem. Okay, export default child. Okay, and I think this is okay. So we have to define that prop. Okay, okay, so we have to define this. That's why I'm getting stuck. Okay, and I'm changing this to 40. Okay, and now age is 30 only. If I didn't provide any value, Okay, okay, I got it. Where I'm getting the problem. Inside a parents class, I have to inside a child class. Sorry, inside a child class, we are not mentioning something. We have to mention here that is a props. Okay, that's why I called a props passing. Okay, now it is okay. Oh, now if I see, I can see age 40. Okay, so this how from a parents class to child class we can pass a props. I'm passing props from a parents class, okay, name and age, and I am rendering that name and age here. Okay, the value of that props, I am mention a name and age here defined here, and I am passing that name and age inside my child class. So I can see prop dot names here. Okay, prop dot is here. Okay, then I am getting that value. So that's how we pass the props. Okay, please make sure mention here the props, I forget to mention. Okay, so here data passing. Okay, so props allow us to passing the data from parents component to the child components and enabling them to display dynamic information. Okay, so when we passing some like props from the parents class to the child class, what is it called? It is called prop passing or something. Okay, this is called prop drilling. Sorry, prop drilling. Okay, so when we passing data from a parents class to child class, that is called a prop drilling. Okay, and we having some default props and all those things. Okay, I'm not going to mention that thing, that is like optional, like similar to this. Okay, if you pass something from there, okay, and you will get. So how can we like manage this thing in a class component, that the like main thing. Okay, how can we manage this thing in a class component, that is very different. If I see the class component, that is a very different thing. Okay, so how can I manage this thing? Okay, so so in this thing, like you have to mention like this. If you are getting somewhere, I'm just giving the example. Okay, so you can like if it is your parents, okay, and then you want to initialize, so same thing, like this dot prop you have to mention. Okay, and prop dot name, and then you have to mention guest. Okay, or you can mention like this. Okay, const something, like you have to mention name also here, I forget. Okay, like this. So you can mention here like this, and not in the render. Okay, outside of this, sorry. And then we can render it. Okay, so like this we can use that thing. If I remove this thing, so we can like mention props, then super props, this start something, hello good morning. Okay, you can pass the props in a component. So that is a concept only for the functional component. If you are using this thing, that is might be problem. Okay, this you can see the structure is a very hard. Okay, and then this functionality if I talk about, okay, so this functionality we are passing the data from a parents class to child class, so this is called a prop drilling. Okay, this is called a prop drilling. Okay, if there is a grand like parents, so from parents, okay, flow from the parent to the like lower ones, okay, upper class, like upper functional component to the lower component, if you're passing some data, that is called a prop dealing. Okay, and then we having last topic today, that is a state. Okay, if I talk about a state, so in React, state is a built-in feature that allow the component to store and manage the data. Okay, and that can change over time. It present the internal state of a component and enable the component to update and re-render the base of the changes in that state. State provide a way to component dynamic interactive component in a application. So here if I making some my component, okay, my component and dot js, okay, and I having some class component, class uh my component, actually c is capital. Okay, like this. We don't require this thing also. Extend, it will extend react dot component. Okay, we already talked about this. So its structure should be like this: construct props, okay, and then props, then this start state and something. Okay, so I'm mentioning here the state. Okay, you can see so this is like this, we having a initializations. Okay, so and then in a functional component we use a hook for it. Okay, I already mentioned somewhere the hook. Okay, here, we mention like this. Okay, the state, I mention a count and set count, so I mention state 0. Okay, and then I increment that state. So how can we update a state, like state? So here you can say how we are like in component.js if I talk about. So if I mention something, okay, so this start state I am changing something, I can change a value. Okay, so like this, if we having some counter, okay, so we can like do like counter, we having here in a higher order function. Okay, like we are incrementing the counter. Okay, we are changing set the counter using set count plus 1. Okay, we are doing like that. So we can also do the same thing here. Okay, if we having a counter, okay, so I can do the thing like this dot prop dot counter or mention 0. Okay, I can do this like this. Okay, update like this. I can mention here instead of set state. Okay, instead of state, we mention set state. Okay, something. So if I talk about state, it is a immutable. In React, state should be treated as a immutable, meaning it should not be directly muted. Okay, we not change this state directly. See, here if I talk about the state, I am not changing this count directly. I am using one more variable, that is set count, and I am changing value of the set count and like assign that value in those in this set count. Okay, so I am not directly changing the route. If it is re-renders, see, I am mention here that state with a const. Okay, and I cannot like reassign. We already seen we cannot reassign the value const. Okay, so the problem is when you re-render, okay, at that time the value of this count will be changed. Okay, so this is immutable. And then if I talk about asynchronous state, then both this dot set state, okay, and counter prevent the counter, I can mention here instead of this. Okay, I can mention a functional okay, I can use a arrow. I can use a arrow uh, for this. Okay, prevent dot counter. Okay, and state is a functional component. Okay, it is not a class component. State is a functional component. Before React 16.8, functional component were stateless. However, we introduce of hook. Okay, and the functional component can now manage the state using a use state. Okay, so if I give you the example, so here we are using use state. Okay, and then state can re-rendering. Okay, that's why we are changing. So when it re-render, so set value set count will be like changes. Okay, we initially use state 0 value, so it will be changes incremented or decremented. So if I talk about convention of using state in like React, so initialize the state in a counter or like constructor. Like we initialize this in a constructor. Okay, or using hook in a functional component. So we are using hook in a functional component. Then use a descriptive and meaningful state names. So give the proper name, count, set count, what you are using, give that name. Okay, and then minimize the number of set variables. So it's generally recommended to keep the number of state variable to minimal. If multiple value are closely related or often updated together, so consider grouping them into a single object or using a reducer. Okay, we will see what is reducer tomorrow. Then treat state as a immutable. Okay, and then use a functional update for a state dependency. Then lift state setup. Then use control component for the for form input. Then avoid storing redundant. Okay, and then consider performance optimization. So these are the steps. Okay, I will share that thing what I mentioned. Okay, uh, in that link. Okay, I will share what I am talking here. Okay, so that's it for today. Okay, I will finish. Okay, if you are having any doubt, you can ask me. Okay, I share that link. I want to share this. And okay, if you're having any doubt, you can ask me or you can leave the class. So tomorrow we will complete the React. Okay. Okay, thank you everyone. I think no doubt.